I score my life every single quarter across these 6 buckets of life. And I'm going to walk you through in this video why I think every single founder and entrepreneur should do the same. Hey guys, this is Trevor, the CEO of a company called Carrot.com and multiple 7- and 8-figure entrepreneur over the years. And on that journey, y'all, it's hard, it's rewarding, it's amazing. But invariably throughout the journey, I've hit spots in my life where I just was feeling off, was not feeling motivated, energized, was feeling what a lot of people call out of balance. And I've done videos and podcasts before here on the Entrepreneur Freedom Formula that walk you through kind of my take on balance. I don't truly feel that balance is something we should be going after, but after integration, like work-life integration. But until I discovered these 6F's, these 6 buckets of life that I'm going to walk you through in this video and on this podcast, I was more haphazardly kind of going through life and going through business and going through this journey, picking and pulling the things I thought I wanted to get better at, usually because I hit rock bottom in those things, because my fitness was so darn bad I couldn't stand it anymore, because I had spent so little time with the people that I cared about that I needed to do better, that I was doing so little things that energized me and gave me fun for that period of time. I needed to change. After I started adopting this 6F's exercise, I'm going to walk you through the 6F's here in a bit. The guilt went away, the intention went up, the improvement on those things dramatically increased. And I think that it'll do the same thing for you if you create that discipline in your life where every quarter, just like I teach with my Epic coaching clients inside of our annual planning workbook that we do here in my Epic program, every quarter you pull up, and one of the things that you do is this 6F's exercise. So let's go and walk through what these 6F's are, and then we're going to actually go through the worksheet. Take a picture of the worksheet or grab a piece of paper and do the exercise kind of alongside me. Well, the 6F's are, in no particular order, faith. Faith is number one. What does faith look like for you? I'm a believer in Christ, and my faith is very important to me. But I can tell you, in a period of my life, let's say 15 years ago, where faith was in this way back burner. It was something that I had never really wrestled with. It wasn't something I had made key decisions about, but it was something that I knew was missing, but I never dealt with it, never made it important until years later. But faith, it could be the universe for you. It could be a higher power, just something greater than yourself that you believe in. What is it that is helping to drive you forward? Okay. The next thing is family. So it's the people that are right around you, the closest to you. Now, you might define family a little bit differently than the next person because everybody's situation is different. But for me, it's the people that I spend the most time with, that I'm related to, that are that direct kind of core nucleus of family. For me, it's my wife, my kids, my parents, my brothers, their families. That to me is that core nucleus. Okay, how are you doing there? And when I look at these, I'm going to show you guys how to grade these and how to scale them. We're really asking just from your heart, how do you think you're doing versus where you want to be? Okay, your grade's going to be different than somebody else's. If you want to grow in that area genuinely, you're probably going to mark a score down that's not a 5. But if you're like, no, I'm good there, I really don't want to grow there, I'm exactly where I want to be, your score might be exactly where you want it to be. So the next thing, the third, is fitness. Okay, so we've got faith, family, fitness. That's fitness, health, everything related to how are you showing up physically, health-wise, the whole thing. Okay, are you energized? Are you eating healthy? Are you moving the body? Are you strong? Friends, that friend group, it's the next wider nucleus, the people that are in our lives outside of our direct family that we spend a lot of time with, that are relationships that we want to hold, that we want to grow, that we want to maintain. Friends are insanely important. I think as an entrepreneur, one of the first things that we start to give up inadvertently is our friend group, because you're so focused on family, you're so focused on growing that business, you don't have time for any of those. So you start to cut hobbies and you cut your relationships. And then over the years, you go, man, I haven't hung out with Johnny in forever, or I haven't gone on a trip with my friends in forever. and we start to want that back again. Okay, what's the next one? The next one's finances. Your ability to make money and your financial picture. How good do you feel about where you are financially in your life? And the last one's fun. And that's literally just joy. It's the things in your life that give you joy consistently. You have fun. You want to do these things. It could be hobbies. It could be trips. It's whatever it is that you truly gives you joy. Now, the thing I don't want you to put in here is just work stuff. Well, work is fun for me. Yeah, work should be fun for us. Work should be interesting for us. It should be fun. It should be rewarding. But I want you to think beyond work. Okay, I want you to think beyond work. Yes, work can be included in that. You should be having fun in work and finding ways to add fun into work on a daily basis. But it shouldn't be just work. So guys, let's dive into the 6F's My Life Audit. And what I'd encourage you to do is either take a picture of this and draw it out yourself, or this is a tool that I give my Epic clients as a part of the quarterly kickoff cadence. But you're going to see on the audit, and I'll verbalize it through for those of you listening to the podcast. There's the 6F's. And the very first thing that I want to do is I want to reflect on every one of those areas. Okay. Those areas are what I would consider the buckets of life. There very may well be some things that bounce outside of that bucket in life, but I haven't found them yet. So if there's any things that do not fall inside of those 6 buckets, let me know so I can update the model. I can update the process as we go, but I haven't found one yet. And so everything in our lives should fall into one of these 6 buckets. Okay. So I want to go through and reflect on it. And I'll usually do this on a quarterly basis. So at the end of every quarter, right before a new quarter starts, I want to do a reflection in my personal planning process. And this is one of the first reflections I do right there at the top: faith. How am I doing there, right? What has been great? Where have I made progress? Where do I want to really celebrate? Where am I feeling challenged? Write those down. I'll usually just do little bullet points, or it could be a paragraph, whatever you want to do there. Okay, next, family. How do I feel there? Am I investing in those relationships intentionally? Am I putting the time with my spouse or my kids or my parents or my brothers or sisters? Am I putting the time there that I want to? Do I feel like they're getting the time of me that they want? Do I feel like I'm enriching those relationships? If I'm married, am I going on consistent date nights? Am I dating my spouse? If not, that's probably an opportunity. With my kids, my wife and I put something in place years ago because of this 6F's exercise with our kids, where a couple things we put in place. One of them is we have 3 children. Each one of us parents takes each one of those kids for sure once, but we try to make twice a year on just a one-on-one trip or an experience with just that kid. It doesn't have to be big. It could be, the bounce park an hour away in Eugene. It could be fly fishing for the day. It could be an overnight somewhere. But each one of us parents spends a one-on-one, usually overnight, with just that child at least once a year. We try to do it twice a year. Another thing that we put in place with our kids is when they turn 13, they get to pick anywhere in America that they get to go with just my wife and I. It's just a trip with just that child. We just wrapped up the latest one with my son Colton. He turned 13 this year. It was a blast. We went to Florida. And my oldest daughter, who's now 15, she wanted to go to New York City. So we went to Manhattan for 4 or 5 days. It was a blast, just life-giving memories, is building those bonds. The next thing that we do, or there's a lot of things on the family side, but the next one you're going to go down the list. What about fitness? How do you feel? Are you energized more days than not? If you're not energized every day, I would ask the question, what days am I the most energized? And when I started to ask that question in 2016, that question gave me very, very clear conviction that the days I'm most energized is when I'm outside doing something, when I'm working out, when I'm moving my body, because movement creates energy. Just like a power plant, we can't expect a power plant to be built and then just to have energy. We don't have energy, we create it. And so the fitness side of it is a way to create energy, but it's also a way to create longevity. How do we create healthy habits that enable us to be here for a long time, to make that to make that impact that we want to make even longer? So fitness, health, those whole things fits in that. How are you doing? 1 to 5. And all of these are going to be a 1 to 5 here in a bit, but we're just reflecting on these right now. What went great? What didn't? Next thing is friends. Hey, have I been hanging out with friends? How do I feel about my friend group? I'm working with a client right now, an amazing entrepreneur, but one of the things things that he talked about, he said, man, I want to work with you because one of the things I want to get better at is really diving deep and engaging with my friend group, because like I haven't, and I see that you treat your friend group amazingly dearly. And that wasn't always the case. Same thing going back to, let's say, 2017, 2018. My friend group was not as tight as it is today. And my friends was always a 2 or maybe a 3 out of 5 on that list. It wasn't until somewhere around 2019, 2021, 2022, I started to stack on things, and I adopted a mindset called blank plus fellowship. I looked at any one of these 6F's and I said, how do I add fellowship to doing those things? How do I add fellowship to the faith side of things, so it's just not me doing it in a corner? How do I add fellowship to fitness? And we have 3 days a week. I've got 4 buddies, entrepreneurs, amazing men of faith, who come in here to the office gym, and we work out together 3 days a week. We pray, we work out together, we talk, we hang out. We've been doing that for years and years and years now. And there's other things I do with friends now at Cadence's blank plus fellowship. So that one's grown immensely because of this exercise. Finances. How do you feel about your finances and your ability to fund your vision, to fund your life? Do you feel like you're stressed all the time? Do you feel like you actually have the ability to fund it? What I think a lot of entrepreneurs do is they put this pressure on themselves and this guilt to always hit this next biggest number. And I remember at one point in my life, I put a 2 or a 3 in here, and I was making $1 million a month on some of those months during those big months, and which is insane because there's way more money than I actually needed to fund my vision. I just had this weird gap that I had created between where I was and where I thought I wanted to be based off of what others were achieving and what I thought I wanted to have others think about me. And as over time, even though that income didn't have to change to have me move this number up, I was able to move it up to 4 and a 5 in many seasons of my life, just by changing the mindset around it to say, where do finances play a role in my life? And the last part is fun. What are you doing intentionally to create fun in your life? Okay. So after you go through and do that reflection, maybe 10, 15 minutes, writing some bullet points. What are you doing great? Where are you not? The next thing you're going to do is just do a 1 to 5 audit. Okay. 1 to 5, and 1 being a couldn't get any worse, a 5 being a could not get any better. I don't need to change that at all. And what I usually do is once a year, I pick one primary thing. When I do my audit in December, going into January of the next year, I do my 6F's audit. I pick one primary area, one primary category that I want to improve the most. And I move that into my primary transformation for that year. Every year I pick one transformation. 2016, my transformation was the physical fitness. I went from not working out at all to building a gym and getting a trainer and really diving into that. I would say 2023, 2024 is more of a spiritual faith transformation. I'm like, I want to dive deep on this and tease through the faith conversations and wrestle with it and make it something that's important, so I can either be all in or all out, right? I remember this was a number of years ago too. 1 year it was family, is with my parents. That was actually probably last year, it was the family. Index heavily into family. My dad got brain cancer and he ended up passing away last year. And so going into that year, it was family focused. How do I eliminate distractions, even if it's business, and index heavily on family? So every year I try to pick one transformation and I get really intentional with it. So make your audits right here, 1 through 5. It's whatever it's going to be. Don't give yourself judgments. Don't feel guilt over these. It's just a snapshot. How do I feel about it? And if the number is lower than a 5, then it means you probably have an opportunity to grow it, or at least you want to. And then as you go, I want you to then circle the top 1 to 2 areas that have the lowest score. So let's say maybe this is a 2. I've been working out for a while. The fitness side, let's say friends maybe is a 1. You haven't been hanging out with friends at all. Let's say you've been jamming on faith and you're a 5. Finances, you're crushing it and you're having some fun. It's in the average, right? You look at this circle, the 1 or 2 that are the worst. You're like, man, I would absolutely love to transform that one this next year. Circle the 1 or 2. And I want you to get really detailed on how you want to improve these areas. So the third column there is improve. How do you want to improve? I usually write down how I want to improve in every one of the 6F's, but then I really create specificity and a plan on how to improve on the 1 or 2 areas I want to transform on. I'm going to take those. I'm going to put those as one of my primary goals for the year. And then I'm going to track that and see how I did. And I'm going to see if that number on a quarterly basis is getting better. Is this staying the same or getting worse? And asking, how can I step into more intention to make this part of my life more rich? Oftentimes, I won't change the other parts of my life at all. If they're doing good, if they're doing okay, I will just take the one that I'm like, I want to move in that. I want to transform that one the most to make the overall richness of my life even more this next year. Okay, so a few key principles. I already mentioned a couple to do this well. Remove the guilt. No guilt with this at all. No judgment at all. I just want you taking a snapshot of time. Number two, do this quarterly. Okay, you're going to do it every single quarter, a week or two before the next quarter starts, and then the last one of the year in December, you're going to do in circle one or two that are the transformations that you're going to focus on this next year. Number three, take that transformation and put it in your actual goals for the year and plunk that thing on a wall so you know that you want to grow in that area and make a real plan on it. Number four is the plan, is make a plan how to grow this. And a plan should be specific. It should be measurable. It should be on the calendar. So I want you to have you make the plan, ask what resources you'll need to make that plan, and then put that thing on the calendar. And then every quarter, take that audit and see how you're progressing. So hopefully this helped you kind of see a new way to audit yourself as an entrepreneur, as a human being. Anybody can use this 6F's audit. But I think as entrepreneurs, like I said, we index so heavily into one or two areas that we leave these core areas of our life devoid of our focus and intention. And what it leads to is feeling things are off, feeling like there's just a lack of just true joy and richness in all parts of our life. And a feeling like maybe if I just grow my revenue, it solves it all. And that does not happen that way. So guys, go through these 6F's, grab the worksheet if you're an Epic member, or just draw some lines on a piece of paper and give yourself the audit. And I'd love to see below in the comments box, if you're watching this on YouTube, or DM me on Instagram, Trevor.Mauch, that's Mauch. I would absolutely be overjoyed if you would hit me up in the comments or DMs and let me know what area are you wanting to focus in on the most this next 12 months to be able to transform in your own life. I'd love to be a champion. I'd love to think for you. I'd love to pray for you. I'd love to help you get there. So pop a comment below, guys. What is the one area that you want to focus on in these 6F's this next 12 months? And then what's your struggle, or what's the plan to get there? Now, I've got a coming video I want you to watch, because you might be at a spot right now where you go, Trevor, this sounds great, but I'm so burnt out that I can't even put my brain to think there. Well, I've got a video coming up next I want you to go watch that is essentially how to eliminate burnout. Okay, it walks through my momentum meter process to eliminate burnout. So that's step one. If you can't get yourself to get excited about an audit like this, you're probably burnt out. Go through and watch that video, eliminate burnout, and then come back to this. Hit subscribe, guys. Would love to be able to coach you, guide through this journey with you, and hear about that journey along the way. Hit subscribe on the podcast fetcher or here on YouTube. And once again, follow me on Instagram. Let me know what is the one area that you are looking to grow and transform in this next 12 months.